I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. Person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim, and today's Truth Tuesday. Hello. We are up and running doing the daily show, yeah. And we do it every day despite all efforts to stop us. You know, I was evaluating what we are really all about, and we are all about stopping the suppression of freedom in America. We are all about exposing the censorship that's happening on a daily basis on YouTube videos that people post. We're opposed to the false flaggery, the fakery that the government has engaged in without any supportive evidence of any real events happening. Over 50 terrorist attacks and not one real dead body has been presented to the American people, and they want us all to believe that that's all perfectly legitimate. They don't have to justify anything. They don't have to present any evidence at all. And this is the world we live in, where we pretend to have a democratically led participatory democracy, which is so far from the truth, I can't even tell you. The two parties have been completely hijacked by corporate interests. And the framers of our Constitution would be rolling over in their grave seeing all the money flying in the back rooms behind the scenes and all the influence peddling and God knows what pedophile activity that's going on among Congress members that are simply being manipulated constantly. So the American people really have no other choice than to start a third party. But the problem is they've got that rigged as well. They've got all these efforts to shut us down and keep us from reaching the American people. It's kind of amazing how this operation continues to survive against all operations against us, considering there's multiple millions of dollars being thrown at shutting us down. And I know this from countless emails I've gotten from various sources telling me that they make lots of money attacking our show. Well, if Tom Aine has presented this discussion of Francis E. Deck, Esquire, a man who's dead, I'm going to be looking at his videos. I haven't yet reviewed them. it is a kakistocracy, a country run by the worst possible people. But I will look into his conspiracy theories without a doubt. I mean, if you say that chemtrails are the least of our problems, then you're probably onto something. I don't know. Brexit doesn't seem like it could ever happen with a man who can't control his hair. I think Johnson is going to give it his shot, but I mean, if he can't get his hairdo under control, then I don't know how England will survive. Yeah. One thing I can say about Donald Trump, he certainly knows how to make that hairdo of his work for him, and I want to congratulate him on his hairdo. That's all I can the positive stuff I can say about Donald Trump is that his hair seems to look like it's intact at all times. I'm not back on a vacation. I'm still streaming from the road. It's the worst possible vacation anyone could ever have. It was a workcation. I spent 10 days, 12 days in hell fixing up my safe house, and then now I'm on the road, and it's just ridiculous. You know, it's one thing after another. When you travel, you expect nothing but problems, and that's what you get. That's why I don't like to travel that much anymore. You know, we didn't go back east or anything for a long, long time because of all of the ongoing problems in the country, the chemtrailing, the heat wave that has stricken the country, 99 degrees. There's been a little respite on the East Coast, and the Midwest is getting a little bit of break, but it's going to be back at it next week with severe 99-degree weather. So it's kind of unfortunate that our country is now plagued with these incessant weather patterns, which I definitely attribute to chemtrails. You don't have to reach very deep to realize that they're manipulating the atmosphere with chemicals, and they even have justification for it. This argument that, let me pull this down. The microphone should be closer because I keep looking at the microphone because it's got a little green light on it, and I don't really need to look at that. Okay, just put it over here so I can talk to you a little bit more closely. There we go. I'll do the research, yeah. Well, Tom, I mean, I'd gladly play his videos right now. I bookmarked a couple of his videos, but I haven't heard about him in 10 years, so how important can he possibly be? The fact is, we've been exposed to all the corruption in our government from various people that have been whistleblowers, and we haven't been able to do anything because our representative democracy is a hoax. We don't have representatives that will answer our questions. We don't have them that will respond to our needs. They never do. I'll check it out, Tom, no question about it, and I'm more than willing to look at conspiracy theories, as you know. You need to take my website from Vaughn. Other sites will tell them your campaign for president. No, that's not how it works. No. They've eliminated almost every website out there that you can broadcast freely on. No, I'm not going to hide that mic under my tie. It's too sensitive. It'd be reading out. It's not a lapel mic. Scissorfied got me a lapel mic, but I'm not going to use it because it doesn't run through USB. I'd have to run it through a little bit of a booster. Epstein ditched girls when they lost braces and pubescent looks. Wow, thank you for that, Max. What's the frequency, Kenneth? That's the thing they asked Dan Rather and then beat him up. A mob of people, a couple guys beat up Dan Rather when they asked him, what's the frequency, Kenneth? Yeah, it's a weird world we're living in when people make statements that don't even make sense. Normally I would say, what does that mean, Mad Dog? But I know what it means. It means the world's upside down. Yeah. Driving in the freeway, people cut you off. They don't even signal anymore. It's beyond belief. It's as if people don't care. It's like they've got a death wish or something, and they're driving through the area that they live in with their kids in the car, and they're going from lane to lane at 100 miles an hour. Oh, that's great. Yeah, sure. Teach your kids that. So this story came from the Toronto Sun. Epstein ditched girls when they lost braces and pubescent looks. So this guy's a real serial offender, allegedly. Super creep Jeffrey Epstein won't be getting messages in jail. Topless teen masseuses are scarce at New York's Metropolitan Correction Center. Yeah. But that's the luck of the draw for a debauched billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. No one knows how he made his money either. They think it's... Okay, the 66-year-old financier was ordered by a U.S. judge to be held until he faces trial for sex trafficking dozens of underage girls. Epstein, a convicted sex offender, has pled not guilty. There's Orgy Island. Apparently it has an altar and all kinds of effigies to Lucifer or various other Lucifer-like characters. But as new bombshells emerge every day on the Epstein scandal, there are fears in some circles that the twisted hedge fund manager will point fingers to save himself. Among those who've been connected to Epstein are Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Prince Andrew, Epstein's muse, publishing heiress Ghislaine Maxwell. On Monday, airport employees in the Caribbean, where Epstein was shadowy owner of an evil atoll the locals called Pedophile Island, described bizarre goings-on. On multiple occasions, I saw Epstein exit his helicopter, stand on the tarmac in full view of my tower, and board his private jet with children, female children, one airport worker told Vanity Fair. Wow. One incident particularly really stands out in my mind because the girls were just so young. They couldn't have been over 16. Epstein looked very angry and hurled his jacket at one of them. Air Lolita, as the mogul's private jet was called, was delivering young girls to the island as recently as earlier this year. He was doing it right in the face of all the charges against him. Another added there'd be girls that looked like they could be in high school. They looked very young. They were always wearing collared sweatshirts. It seemed like camouflage. That's the best way to put it. This is his partner in alleged crime, Ghislaine Maxwell. Wow. You know, you got to go pretty deep to get worse than this, and I think this is the bottom of the barrel. This guy is a repeat offender and has so many connections. Some people say he's a Mossad agent working for the dark elements of the Zionist elite. Ghislaine, yeah. David, what do you think about the allegation that Epstein's the pizza maker of Pizzagate? And the gate was the zipper to his penis. You know, there's been no connection, direct connection between James Alefantis and Jeffrey Epstein. But I'm open to any questions on that level. Absolutely. Truth Tuesday is wide open tonight. Thank you. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit here. I've had a pretty tough day today, traveling all around monuments and out here in Sedona. Oh, I shouldn't tell you where I am. Sorry. I can prove chemtrails, yeah. There's a great article and video done by the Italian experts, geoengineers, that have analyzed the particles in the chemtrails, and they found that they're comprised of barium, aluminum, selenium, strontium, all of which are toxic to humans. Well, you know, if he goes down, he's taken a lot with him. The most likely outcome would be most likely assassination. That's the most likely outcome for him. In that, if the secrets that he has are so great, yes, I can prove them. You're out of here. No, I can't talk about my exact location, but what I'm going to do is irrelevant. I wish you could go to the Roswell event, yeah. Venezuelan government claims huge power outage caused by electromagnetic attack. I believe that they're correct. Yes, thank you for that, Max. Good link. Let's take a look at that in a second. Boris Johnson, the new Prime Minister of England, is strikingly similar in appearance to me, and I hope that people realize that I am not Boris Johnson. I know many people are beginning to believe that I am him, but it's just not the case. He's the big winner, but what did he win? The booby prize? I mean, seriously. What did he win? What was the big win? This is a very bittersweet win for him. I mean, he's going to have a lot of talking about how this will be implemented in order to make it actually work for him. Well, Dave, it's not going to be easy, I can assure you. Everything we're doing is to advance our nation. Well, I hope that works out for you, buddy. And I recommend I don't know. I don't recommend anything. He looks like David Trump, yeah. Line the thumbs up. I'm going to zoom in on my camera just real quick here. It just takes a second. I got to configure it. We had a little problem starting up today because my internet connection at the hotel was not exactly perfect. So you'll have to excuse the delayed start. Thank you. It's a little too zoomy. That's probably good. I know. If I were orange too, that would help. But I only see, yeah. The camera is just so bad with such bad lighting. I can't help it. It's just the way it is. Sorry. It's just the way it is. Well, where I live at this time, it's in the 90s. Yeah. Robert, we're not making up anything. We're giving you solid facts. You just don't want to accept them. Every day you look up in the sky and you see these chemicals being blown off in your air, in your head. Yeah, see, I said 88 degrees. Thank you. See? And every day you see these chemicals just bursting in the air above you. And I've got to get rid of all these links because they didn't recognize the drive. Yeah, what's going on? I got to pull him up individually. Cowbell has to be pulled up individually. The only thing I have here on tap is, I don't even have that. No, everything's got to go. Yeah, I just have to clean up my list of things that I have in my list of. The one where the guy says he got a oral sex with Obama, that has to come back from. I have to pull it from the drive directly. What's going on? That's got to come from the drive directly. Yeah, it's a shame that I didn't recognize, but I think all these different connections we've had all day have caused it. Larry Sinclair's press conference, can't do that. Okay, I'll do it later though. If you guys have any requests for any of those things, just pipe up and we'll be bringing that up to you. I know it's the big bread and butter operation for you to look at Larry Sinclair, but I didn't run too late yesterday. No, I was kind of on time. Oh, well, it's not easy. One of the things that we're facing right now is this reality that the Russian oligarchs are getting away with unbelievable atrocities while the Democrats do nothing. And George Nader is one of the guys that recently was targeted, witness in the charges of sex trafficking. This guy has connections to the Russian oligarchs and Saudi Arabia, and they just found a slew of pictures on his thumb drive of kiddie porn, which he could have acquired from a remote access point when going through the airport. They can install that on your hard drive. I don't know, but he was a key witness in the special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation and was hit with new federal charges of sex trafficking for allegedly engaging in sex acts with a 14-year-old boy he transported from Europe. So it looks like the indictments going forward. My question is, does this guy have more information than he's letting on? We know that Michael Cohen has tremendous amount of information about Russian oligarchs' control over the election, and he's in jail, and the Democrats don't even want to interview him. So all these allegations of sex trafficking going on, you'd think that the American government would put together an anti-sex trafficking task force. Strangely enough, Donald Trump hasn't done that. He's been very low-key about his friend Jeffrey Epstein. He said almost nothing about Acosta, the labor secretary who gave Epstein a light sentence of only 13 months for trafficking 50 girls. So it seems that Donald Trump has been acting very, very careful not to impinge upon his close mob friends and his close pedo friends. Isn't that interesting? And he's not putting together a task force to go after pedophiles in D.C., which makes me wonder, is he one of them? Is that allegation that Justice for Katie had, where Katie said that she was raped by Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago with Jeffrey Epstein present when she was 13 years old, and then claims that she dropped the charges because her life was threatened? I mean, seriously. Donald Trump appears to have been manipulating or threatening women like Stormy Daniels. And this cover-up money that he paid is legitimate. He did pay the money, which is an FEC violation, by the way. Very high. I think Zellfire is right. The chances of Donald Trump being involved in pedophilia is very high. I think we have to look at that now. Not only is he connected to the Russian oligarchs through collusion and money laundering, and Mueller has covered for him, I doubt seriously if Mueller's testimony tomorrow will amount to anything. No, I don't. No, we don't take on questions about chemtrails that are legitimate. Yeah, sorry. You're going to be banned every time you come in here. Chemtrails are legitimate, and we don't take on questions about legitimate chemtrails. Thank you. Well, I can tell you that Stormy Daniels got the raw end of the stick, if you know what I mean. She got screwed, and I don't mean just once by Donald Trump as he jizzed all over her skirt, which according to her, she still has that actual item. It has not been dry cleaned. Yeah, so they've got drone footage over Epstein Island. Let's take a look at that. And we can play that in the background. It looks like good, legitimate drone footage. Dems have been rehearsing the fake questions of Mueller. I know, you know, the whole Mueller thing is really, it was too little too late, in my opinion. Yeah, Mueller didn't even bother to get 10 years of tax returns. That was one of the first things he should have gotten as special prosecutor. Here's the drone footage you're looking at in the background. It's a pretty nice island. He's got a helicopter pad. I guess there was a fire recently when they had to get rid of all those raw pictures of those naked kids. Yeah, he had a fire. I'm assuming he was burning pictures, pedophile pictures or something. But Mueller hasn't done a damn thing, really. He gave up on the second trial of Paul Manafort, which indicates that he's protecting him. Wow, that's kind of a weird camera effect. Earth to Dave. I got to lock up my focus control here. There we go. Yeah, lots of roads. I don't think he has a gas station there, but you know, I'm sure he was able to get gas somehow. Yeah, there's his helipad. Pretty cool footage. I'll play more of that later as the show goes on and on and on and on. New York libtard Mayor de Blasio encouraging chaos in the streets of New York. Really? I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah, de Blasio, the guy who doesn't want hot dogs sold in New York. Complete idiot. Absolute libtard, I agree.
The complete disrespect towards New York City Police Department officers being drenched
with water, all caught on cell phone video.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh,
cops are being treated like crap in New York.
Yo, they violated them. They violated them. No, they violated them. Oh, they not stopped. Oh man, and that's not the only incident on the other side.
Yeah, and this is example number one of how the military police state is backfiring on these idiots that want to control our cities with a bunch of lame-brained scaredy cats who run around afraid of the gangs, pretending to harass good, honest people so they look tough. This is the level of police force that we have now. NYPD, I'm telling you, those people, they need a complete and utter revision. The fact that two top detectives were killed last week, or 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, and they called it a suicide. I mean, come on. The best New York Police Department can offer are being killed. Thanks, Daryl. Thanks for saying that. Whew. Yeah. You can't even give hot dogs away in New York. It's illegal. De Blasio, the libtard that he is, doesn't want them to sell, along with sodas that have orange or actually sugar in it. Okay, why do people put so much effort into getting off? I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. Dave, Western society is collapsing. Can you really save it in 2020? Well, I haven't had a chance to get into the media, as you know. And with my lightning fast wit and smooth delivery, I believe I can lasso the American sentiment into a centrist belief pattern where we can all just get along. I don't believe that we have to hate each other. If we just take a couple things off the table when we talk about things, like not talk about pro-choice or pro-life, not talk about gun control, not talk about taking away our rights to bear arms. We just stay away from those subjects. I think we can start to talk about things in a multi-partisan perspective, a tripartisan perspective, where we can think about, maybe even building the centrist party with common goals. Thank you. Thanks, Zena. Well, it's not just the hair. It's we're fighting a lot of things. All of us are. Just living in America and around the world, we're faced with chemical pollution from the chemtrails that are being dumped on us. Our water sucks. I went to a couple events recently, and they had big, huge containers that said water. You can fill your jugs. Everyone can fill their jugs with water. And it's like, it's not filtered water. It's tap water. And I was telling Sarah, when I'm president, I'm going to pass an executive order saying that anybody serving water to anybody has to filter that water. That includes soda drinks, beer, wine. There should be no product on the market that isn't pre-filtered. The water should be pre-filtered. I mean, this is common sense, people. Why would we want to drink toxins?
I was going to give you a little break. I left the iron plugged in, but I turned it off. But I ironed a couple of my shirts.
Oh, you want me to iron that shirt for a while?
I'm just...
Well, yeah, I bought a new shirt, so I think I'm good. Yeah, I could iron that the good shirt that I bought with the ballistics testing that was done on it.
Okay.
No, we're not meaning contrails. It's chemtrails, you imbecile. There's no contrails about it. The contrails dissipate in seconds. Chemtrails linger and go in your lungs. Just start using the new word in the vernacular, and then we'll be fine.
Well, Amber looks like she wants some food too.
Oh, I just fed her.
Oh, good. That's what
I fed her whole dinner. She's very happy. Where is she?
She's right there looking at.
Oh, she wants a little lap time, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get Sarah in the show. She's not going to talk about anything conspiracy oriented. We're just here talking about life in general. So Sarah is not the conspiracy person. I take those issues on. I don't mind. But the most important thing we should have is clean, fresh water. I filter all my water, and I recommend you do too.
And everyone should drink lots of water.
Yep.
So that they stay hydrated.
Yeah.
And if you are someone who drinks a lot of diuretics or alcohol or just eats anything, or there's this big heat wave that's been going on, everyone should drink lots more water. The only place that there wasn't a heat wave, it was kind of weird, was in our hometown. You have vertigo, you need to drink more water. Man, I have had vertigo kind of before, but I have not had my minimum daily requirement of onion or probably enough water either. I'm telling you to drink water, but I probably haven't had enough water. David's cheating on his diet. I didn't know David was on a diet. Well, I'd say David thought he'd go to a safe house and be on some kind of workout regime there, but I took him away from a safe house because I didn't feel safe from mosquitoes. Yeah. You need to go buy some bone meal for your tomato plants, and don't forget to water them. That's like my least favorite thing to do with gardening, is actually watering. Oh. CNBC News, Trump's cutting food stamps. His plan would kick millions off of food stamps with his proposed changes. So copy this, open this, paste it here. There we go. You've been watering your pepper plants every other day and they're growing wonderfully. That's good. Yeah, every other day is very good. You've been downloading, David, Mad Dog got you into downloading. Trump's plan would kick more than 3 million people off of food stamps. No, I don't want that actually.
Department of Agriculture.
It would eliminate automatic enrollment in the program for poor families who receive welfare. So if you received welfare, you wouldn't automatically be on food stamps. You'd have to do another application. Oh, guess what, Trump? Here's what's the problem with that, and I will tell you. Just in 2 sentences. Basically, when you don't do the auto-enrollment, you're going to cost the government more money and more time, because then there's paperwork, because people have to fill out another application. Gee, I know, I wish they could be filling out a job application instead of a food stamp application. But then you have to process that application, and chances are the people that are receiving welfare who have to fill out the food stamp application actually don't have computers. I know it's weird that people don't have computers, but they probably don't because they're so poor. And so then a government worker has to input that data into it, and so you're going to cost the taxpayers almost as much as it just leaving them on food stamps. Here's what you want to do instead. And as 834 says, some of those people are so poor they might start robbing people if they don't have access to food. I will tell you what to do with food stamps. 1, you have the extend out the school lunch program. Make sure they have school breakfast and school lunch programs and basically everywhere in the country. Double check that they do, and offer that in the summer so that at least you're feeding the kids. I know some of you Republicans say people that shouldn't afford kids shouldn't have kids, but really, is it the child's fault that they were born into that family? No. Once they're 18, yes, I understand. Second, you should make sure that people can qualify for food stamps while they're earning a certain income. Because the way it works now, there's actually people who qualify for welfare and they qualify for welfare, they apply for the food stamps. Anyway, they qualify for both of those things, but they don't go out and look for work. Why not? Because if they make a certain amount of money, then they'd actually wouldn't get the food stamps. So for them, it's actually better to sit around and not apply for jobs. I know, it's crazy. But that's the way it is in reality. I know you don't know this because you get driven around by your Secret Service and you're sitting in the White House like thinking of things. I'm telling you what real world is. I talk to real world people all the time. I'm a teacher. Public school services everyone, from the poor to the rich. Okay, yes, the rich could afford to go to private schools, but often they realize awesome teachers like me work in public schools, so they come into our school. But seriously, I know Xenu thinks that he could live on $1,000 a month from David or some other people that are doing that. You have to think through the consequences, Trump. And if you don't understand the consequences, all you need to do is give me a call and I will explain to you all of the potentials of the consequences of what you're thinking. I know, it's hard to think. Yes, it's very difficult. But anyway, Zeno, is what Drag King says is true? Were you the person that did that to me? All right. Hot rails, I don't know why a person would want to sit around and do nothing all the time. I understand wanting to sit around because I think I bruised my heel walking around to look at museums. Okay, thank you, Zeno. I thought it was somebody else. And looking at other cool things across the country, so I think I bruised my heel, so I do understand wanting to not be on my feet all the time, but I don't understand not doing anything productive all the time. I'd rather sit in like a little chair that I can wheel around, like with a paddle, and like be planting or something. I like being productive, that's true. It's kind of weird. I know I'm on like this summer break. It's the first time I've actually traveled on a summer break in like 7 years. So, anyway, I have enjoyed it, but it is a little different not being productive. But I feel good. I like this, and then I will get back into being productive in a little bit. Yes, I know. I could get one of those carts that people drag around to visit museums. I know, exactly. I don't remember that, Drag King. No. Oh, 834 loves being productive, even while being online, looks for ways to make it useful to your advantage. Yes, when I get the bill for this trip, I'm like, I gotta work harder just to pay off this trip. I will think about it, Zena, but it's one of those people, yes, kind of unbannable. He has like 3 different names and he keeps coming back. Yeah, but I don't think that was Zenu, Tom. It could have been. Did you show me a cat, Zenu? Zenu doesn't even have a cat that I know of. Zenu, do you have a cat? Thanks, DT Laura. Mad Dog doesn't have a cat either. I don't know who that was, but well, yes and no. I am going to ask somebody tomorrow how the garden's going, if they checked on it. But the thing about the garden is that I have this amazing irrigation system that we installed this past school year, and so it goes on automatically, so it waters itself. Of course, I know that doesn't mean it weeds itself, but it waters itself, so it's definitely growing even though I'm not there. And then the compost, I do need to add water to it, so I've asked some people to add some water to those, and I had a few different volunteers, so I just like let it go with that. And a few different people said, oh, I can come check the worms, so like 2 or 3 different volunteers, maybe even more than that. So I'm pretty happy with that. And my sister, granted that's a sister I haven't talked to in a little while, but my sister, she and I both got it. We have these long periods where we don't talk. Not that we're mad at each other, we're just busy. And unbeknownst to us, we started vermicomposting at the same time. Like, I was like, called her up, hey, guess what I got into? Vermicomposting. Me too, Heartworm's cool. So she's like, it was so funny because she's like, oh, do you need worms? I'll give you worms. So if my worms die, then I'll hit up my sister for some worms. But well, my family thinks David has, some really interesting ideas and some really great ideas. You lived in Lawton, Oklahoma for a year. You hated it. One thing I have learned from, I know that's funny. It is. Oh, and it's so funny. Did I tell you guys my grandpa had given us both these shirts. He was always into Earth Day. I think my grandpa probably like celebrated their first Earth Day because he was like always sending us like Earth Day shirts. And he like, well, he was like a tech environmentalist just like me. I love my grandpa. Anyway, what else do they think? They think lots of things. My family are big thinkers, you know, I have to say. We like to sit around and think and talk. But yes, so one of the things, my school had like a twin day, and my sister and I both wore the same shirt and a pair of blue jeans, and it said, "I dig Earth Day," and it had a picture of worm on it, like a green worm sticking his head out, and I'm like, that's so funny. Like, Grandpa, he passed away, but he probably had the last laugh, like, haha, you both are gonna get into worming. Anyway, except for the compost thing, I guess, yeah, we are pretty sane, well put together. My dad's very proud of us. He's like, wow, I have a lot of kids, but they're all doing really well. And then my brother's going back to school. I should reach out to him more often. I should probably reconnect with my family more often. I didn't say that, Zenu. I never said that my family dislikes David. Well, David will come in a little bit. Yes, everybody ends up in compost and worms eventually. Nobody lives forever. No, David is pretty good in person. He's like, watch my show and then you can wake up. No, sometimes he's not. What, is there any, oh, you're asking, is there anything they dislike about David? I don't know, not really. I don't want to talk about that. I want to focus on all the positive things. Oh, okay. Do they ever ask why he's not trying to marry me? I think they did in the beginning. Maybe that's, his age is definitely a little thing, but I think they might have in the beginning, but they realized, like, it was kind of interesting early on in our relationship. I would say early on, maybe it was 2 or 3 months into it. My dad, he's like, Sarah's gonna be with this guy forever, so don't worry if they like. My mom, I think it was like the first night that I was like spending the night with David, and it was that first night that I was doing that, and my mom was like, "Oh, they're living in. Why is she spending the night with this guy?" And my dad's like, she's gonna be with this guy forever. Like, one night's gonna make a difference out of the however long she's gonna be with him.
Exactly.
I mean, and you know, David and I really never talked about marriage. David talked about, oh, if we have a child, and I have, and I just decided, that's not in it for us. Anyway.
Necessarily, it might be. You never know.
Having a child.
Having marriage.
Marriage. I'm saying that having a child isn't in it for us.
We didn't want a kid.
And so now David. Anyway, so that's David always said, like, that's the reason people should be married, is if they have children.
I was taught that. In my life.
Yeah. Anyway. Sure, maxed out credit. This is 40 and slip there. All right. Is there any way you can close that? Anyway, never mind. I'll do it.
Close what?
No, I never told David to get a job.
What about closing? Oh. It's kind of stuffy.
Well, it's kind of loud.
Yeah, it is.
I don't find it stuffy. Maybe I like it stuffy.
Well, I guess you do. I just don't think the stuffiness is that healthy for us.
I don't know. Maybe that's the whole thing. Yeah. Sorry, thank you. David definitely is a very kind and caring person, so I guess he's so cute. He's sitting with Amber in his lap right now, and it's really good.
She likes to be petted
She
after
needs to be
eats.
petted after she eats her CBD oil. She's like
Yeah.
getting her purrs up and loving it.
Yeah.
Yes, David is a good man. Yep.
Yep. Wow.
Being in the safe house did Bangalitis, but actually traveling it's pretty easy to shower daily. I'll probably take a shower after I
Yeah.
after I jump off the show here.
Yeah, you should.
And then yeah. So it's pretty easy. I mean, hotel rooms have showers. They even provide little shampoos if I want to use those, but I brought my own shampoo.
Some are better than
yeah.
others, that's for sure.
Yes, David, and if we had a kid, his kid would be a mastermind. Imagine. But he doesn't want to bring a child into this world and have the child like look around at the world and be like, chemtrails!
Yeah.
You're poisoning the planet!
It would be cruel.
Pollution!
It would be cruel.
Stop with the plastic!
It would be cruel to give a child birth at this time with such a nefarious, evil act going on, and no one giving a crap about saving the earth.
Yeah.
It just, if people really cared, and were coming out of the woodwork caring about the planet, I would definitely have children. But from the looks of it, most people have been dumbed down to the point where they don't care about anything. So why have a kid?
There you go, you heard it.
I don't want them to be dumbed down, to not care about anything.
Usually not, Zenu, unless it's really good. But then I tell them, like I pretty much said most of them are like really bad, and I'm like, leave the shampoo. Maybe they'll leave it for the next guest. Use our own shampoo, and that way you're not adding to the plastic pollution.
We do have a collection of really good soaps, though. That we pick
Yeah,
up.
because one or the other of us always opens up the soap.
Yeah, well,
And then it's like, why leave the soap? Because they're just going to throw it away.
Yeah.
So
We
save
have
the environment and use the soap. So.
we have good new soaps too. It's helpful to have those soaps because they're perfect.
Okay,
for
thanks,
kitchen.
Zenu. I see you love David dancing. He does have a great body and he has a great dance moves. Totally different than. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, you should take a shower and enjoy yourself.
Okay.
You know? I'll just take over the show now.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
There you go.
You want to take her to be on the show?
No, she's just a kitty cat. She just doesn't want to. Thanks, Sarah, for helping. Yeah, I'm coming back in the show to address the issues of the day. I'm really concerned that this Jeffrey Epstein guy is going to slide with all the dirt he has on everybody. No, Amber's fine. She doesn't need to be on screen. Unless she comes up to me and wants to sit in my lap again.
You want to go sit in his lap again? You will scratch.
It seems like the...
Do you want me to leave this open then?
yeah, well, no, I mean, just for a little air. It just seems like
You want that open?
the coloring, these lights are the best we got.
Well, no.
No, if I turn that on, it'll be painful to look at. It's like a CFL. I think all of this is dirty
Did
energy.
you notice what I did in there?
That was good, yeah. I like that in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I noticed that a lot of the hotels are still using compact fluorescent lights, even the nice ones, the nice hotels. And everyone knows LED safer energy is less dirty energy. And everywhere I turn is CFL, CFL, and then the light looks weird on. Yeah, why are you starting to look ashy? Exactly. You know, I can add color to the show, but you know, I can add a little color to the the picture, but.
Okay, I think I will.
Is that better? There's a little more color there. Yeah, I don't steal hotel shampoos. I really prefer. Who are you talking about, guest 784? Yeah.
Okay, I'll put the iron away.
Thanks. Yeah, I did the best I could with my shirts. Yeah, shampoos at the hotels really do suck. They make good car wash. If you're ever washing your car, and hotel shampoo, it's really good. Yeah. So who are you referring to, 784? I want to know. It is the dry look, yeah. Well, part of the problem is shampoos at hotels. You know, it creates that dry look. It dries your hair out. Mm-hmm. And the problem with adding conditioner is you can't really add conditioner effectively because it's so bad, the conditioner they give you. Because you have probably more moisture. Well, I know it looks like Johnson. That's why I was comparing myself to Johnson earlier. You know, Boris Johnson has that look of dry hair, and I think Boris Johnson is lazy and will be a terrible prime minister, says ex-colleagues. Well, so he's a lazy man. But you can see that hairdo is very similar to mine, and I think that in and of itself is the reason why I'm wearing the hair today. In honor of the new Prime Minister of England, who I believe we're somehow related. Yeah. Well, I'm not a Johnson, no, but you can see the similarities in our faces. His eyes were a little closer together, though. It's not really something I want to do. I just chose to do it because everyone is avoiding the issue of the Brexit.
Do you want me to hang these up?
It won't matter. You're welcome to do it, though. Just hang up the yellow one. Yeah, I bought this just to...
Did you? You didn't.
Is that the white one?
No.
Oh, I just pulled that out. Yeah, that was the yellow one.
Yeah.
I thought I ironed it. You better iron it again. I'm sorry. Jeez.
It's like not ironed at all.
I thought it looked fine right at it. It said no iron on the label.
No, but look at it.
You better iron it. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I have to task you to do that.
That's fine.
No, we're not going to cook on Thankful Thursday because we're of the belief that cooking is a waste of energy. And part of my greatest goal is to not actually cook on a trip like this. So.
Who knows? Maybe you could because there's nothing on Thursday.
I might be cooking on Thursday. I could set the camera up in the kitchen here at the suite we're staying at. We got like a 2-room suite here in this hotel. It's beautiful. You know, the Sedona Desert, the mountains in the back. Absolutely beautiful. What do I eat on trips? Less. I'm on a diet. I was saying that earlier. No, I don't need dark brown colored hair. I've actually got dark brown colored hair. I picked up from 1966. Real hair color achieved. It was actually authentic human hair from 1966. I have a wig that I could wear. It's not here. It's elsewhere. But you ought to come in for Wig Wednesday tomorrow night. You'll see my wig. I've got a pretty cool wig I wear. I don't even put my head under water in a chlorinated pool because all the chlorine goes into my ears, and then I get chlorinated ears. I only have 3 wigs max. two blonde ones and a brown one I acquired from my mother. She bought a wig in 1966, and it can barely fit me, but you've had some problems getting that out there. But I just don't want to talk about mindless things dribble like that, like wigs, you know? Can we talk about something in the media that sparked your interest, other than the Illuminati sex puppets that flash in front of you every day? You don't wash a wig. I've never washed a wig in my life. Wigs don't get dirty. I'm feeling great. Hey, Fishware. Yeah, we're just in a hotel with CFL lights around us. Compact fluorescent lights. Well, let's assume there are 15 people in chat when just about a month and a half ago, guest chat at iBlog was open to anybody. And now nobody can get in without signing with an email address. And in the world of viewers that are watching on the internet or maybe watching on UHF, they don't even have the internet. They can't even get into a chat room. So you're not counting millions of people who are watching on UHF. And your analysis of the total group of people trying to get into iBlog is altered by the fact that iBlog is now censoring people because they got money from Mark to do that. I don't wash wigs. I don't bathe my cat. My cat is as clean as it was when it was born. Well, of course, it was born with chlamydia, so I can't say it was very clean. It's cleaner than it was when it was born with chlamydia. Mother had chlamydia through the birthing canal. Okay, you try to get it centered, but it's okay. Let's take a look. We've got the Brexit. Boris Johnson is making a comeback here in the United States as David Sponheim. I can fit my face around his. I think we could be having a lot of fun with Boris Johnson. I'd rather talk more about Boris Yeltsin. Yeah, but if you want to talk about Boris Johnson, you certainly can. Well, let's be clear. Let's be completely unclear. Whatever you want to talk about, it's perfectly fine. You know, it's a flexible show. I don't have any real issues with anybody here, other than Meow TV, who I considered a big supporter at one time, and then not so much of a supporter, and now I know that he's just here to watch us. Outrage after an NYPD officer is drenched with water while on duty. Outrage, they asked for it. These cops are acting like a bunch of pussies, afraid to meet the gang threats in New York City. Watch this. Well, let's be clear. Oh, you sent me a picture? I don't need a picture. I had that on cue earlier. Oh, here it is.
Engine sequence start.
No, this is not an ad. I'm not sending you to Whistler. I forget it. You know, just forget I mentioned it. Skip ad, maybe? You think? Thanks. No, I'm not going to Whistler. Thank you.
As I stand out here in the wonders of the unknown, I sort of realize there's a...
I can't get it. I can't pick it up. It says it's an ad from Whistler. Forget the Fox News. I don't even want to see... I'd rather see Jeffrey Epstein's place from a drone. That's a much better video. This is the road he drove his sex slaves, child sex slaves, after worshiping to the sun god Ra on his helipad. And this ritualistic sex act was performed right in the open under satellite reconnaissance so that people like Bill Clinton could look at everything that was going on. I'm sure Bill Clinton has a feed from the NSA. I never had sexual relations with anyone except the women on Orgy Island. That kind of thing. Pretty cool drone activity, though, I must say. But it's kind of boring, like all drone activity. I never had sexual activity with anyone, not even myself. David, I still have my UHF running. My first UHF dedicated ATP. I pay thousands a year in electrical fees to broadcast show over wide UHF, VHF, VHS. Thanks, Zeno. You're awesome, man. You have 8 personalities, 8 brains. Okay, well, good luck with that. Sounds like a dissociative personality disorder, or worse. So the whole island is designed as a Mormon temple? Thanks for your input, Dr. Meow. My dull, cheap-ass cleaver will not be raffled off. I like it. It reminds me of my youth. I learned to cook on that cleaver, and it's not dull, sir. It's very effective. But I like the knives that we picked up. Oh no, I have full video surveillance of my house. I take pictures of everybody that gets near it. We have all the license plates of everybody that goes in and out and around our area. I keep that on a dedicated server with a backup hard drive, as well as a backup battery system, and storage in the cloud as well. We all should have been known Clinton was a liar. Well, you know, I think, hey Stoner, I think that Clinton should have been prosecuted with a full impeachment. And the fact that they couldn't even pull that off, the Democrats didn't show any muster there, shows you how weak they are now. All they have is 4 women, the squad of 4, claiming they want impeachment. They've trivialized the whole impeachment issue. The Democrats are a party that cannot articulate any one statement. They're completely lost in a world of calling everyone a racist and not really solving any key problems like homelessness or the environment. The Democrats have become useless. They're a hollow, empty party. But so are the Republicans, who simply give tax breaks to the rich. I have a cleaver from, I believe, 1907 that my grandfather chopped up horse meat. Yeah. That's the cleaver that's worth a fortune. Yeah, man, that cleaver is huge. Your license number is 1X367. Excuse me. I'm reading 1LX. No, I'm reading LLLLX 367. Is that correct? Wisconsin? Oh, sorry. I don't use the cleaver anymore. My grandfather chopped up the horse meat that he ended up having to, kill his horses because of the... I think he had to kill all the horses because of the hoof and mouth disease back in the 1930s. But my great-grandfather used his cleaver in 1907. You want Larry? We all want Larry. Larry Sinclair, on tap every night. It's something you need and I deliver on. It's not something I want you to in any way feel like you're being left out and unable to receive your daily sacrament of Larry Sinclair. It's important that you know, that I know, that we all are aware of Barack Obama's sexuality.
Where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois.
If you'd like me to write the actual location of this down, because we have, in case you want to meet Larry Sinclair, I believe he may still be at that hotel and Comfort Suites in Gurnee, Illinois. It's a Swedish car, yes. How did you know? We've looked up the license plate. It's a Kroner 3-door van. Yeah. It isn't registered to the Svensvald. Yeah. The Swedish people who own the car. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not here to judge Larry for having oral sex with Barack Obama and putting his penis in his mouth. I really don't. That's not the part that bothers me. Not that that's something I want to know about. It doesn't bother me that while Barack Obama's penis was in Larry Sinclair's mouth, he was smoking a crack pipe. That theoretically would bother me, but it's the fact that that Barack Obama continued to lie about his background. That's what bothered me. And Donald Trump didn't want to pursue any case against him. He dropped the birther thing like it was a lead balloon. Hot potato. The Dimming, a groundbreaking geoengineering documentary. Well, it's so groundbreaking it won't even open up. Dane Wigington, the creator of this, is going to talk about what he's doing. Many people are beginning to believe that Dane Wigington of geoengineeringwatch.org is a controlled opposition person. Willie Pickles, if I were to tell you where I was, you wouldn't believe it. You might get a chance to see me tomorrow on television. Mueller makes, makes last-minute request ahead of testimony, and Republicans aren't happy about it. Okay, what's going on with the Mueller investigation? Thank you. Yeah, Scissor Fight's in. Hey, Scissor Fight. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get some TV play where I'm going, but I don't know if I am going to be seen on TV tomorrow, but I will be in a critical area. Hopefully, you know, the gatherings won't be too great. Mueller makes last-minute request to have a testimony. What does he want to say? That he doesn't want to speak? Remember when he said he didn't want to testify? He said he didn't have to testify, too. He didn't even understand law. What kind of a person is a special prosecutor that doesn't understand the law? Anybody has to testify. If they're called, if they subpoenaed me, I have to testify. Former Special Counsel Robert Mueller asked Democrats in the House Judiciary Committee to swear in his longtime deputy as a witness at the congressional hearing Wednesday, according to multiple reports. Mueller asked that Aaron Zebley, who served as deputy on the Special Counsel's probe, be sworn in as a witness in order to address any questions that he is not able to answer. Oh, so he's going to defer to somebody sitting next to him, like a puppet.
I want to ask my puppet master, what am I supposed to say, you know?
Mueller is scheduled to testify before the House Judiciary Committee for 3 hours, before the House Intelligence Committee for 2 hours on Wednesday. So we can either catch him at the House or at the House. Both Judiciary and Intelligence will be talking to him. He'll be pressed for details of his 22-month investigation into whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia and whether President Donald Trump attempted to obstruct the probe. Now, the problem with this entire investigation is that the questions that they will ask him, Mueller, wow, look at that. That's brand new. That looks fantastic. No, that looks great. I'll look 100% for the meeting, for the meeting with the top executives. I'm not going to say where I'm just, Area 51 is pretty weird. You got to look good. Anyway, my goal is to absolutely listen to the testimony of Mueller tomorrow and see if he actually has asked the questions. That's what I want to know. Yeah. You see, the Democrats, or I should say the Democrats, will not ask Robert Mueller why he only produced a paragraph on the dossier. That question won't be asked. I assure you it won't be asked. The Democrats don't want to even bother with the dossier, even though it's solid and everything Christopher Steele did was legitimate. Nobody's questioned it. The fact that Hillary may have ordered it or paid for it is irrelevant. But the Democrats won't ask about the dossier, I'm pretty sure. Second of all, they're not going to ask about the contradiction that happened with the company, Concord Consulting, the Russian company that sued Mueller back, and they found in the inventory an item that Mueller had called a sex selfie in Trump's file. I guarantee the sex selfie will not be questioned about tomorrow. I'm fairly sure they will not mention the sex selfie as well as the dossier. I also believe the Democrats won't mention the fact that Robert Mueller did not investigate Paul Manafort's second trial. Didn't bother to give him a second trial. Remember, Manafort violated the terms of the plea agreement, yet nothing happened. Isn't that convenient? He wrapped it up and he issued forth a redacted report, which, by the way, was redacted. 9% of that report was redacted because Roger Stone was named as a supposed conspirator And everyone knows Roger Stone is just the biggest mouth in D.C., and even he would admit that. So Mueller used a tactic to redact the report, which was completely, it almost looks like a smokescreen to prevent anyone from seeing evidence that allegedly would have been involving Roger Stone. What a crock of crap, and I guarantee the Democrats won't talk about that either. The Democrats won't raise the question why Robert Mueller did not get the 10 years of tax returns that Trump had, that he said openly to everybody before the election. Oh, I would gladly show you my tax returns, no problem. So what we're going to see from Robert Mueller is going to be a crock of shit. It's like watching a man who's extremely constipated sit on the toilet, wondering when he's going to take a crap. That's basically going to be the entire event tomorrow. And if I were there, I would probably just sit there and listen. Because what are you going to do? The Democrats can't come up with a credible question. Now, as you know, I would have been leading the Democratic Party right now if they hadn't rejected me in 2014 and called me a racist, when all I did was impersonate a black president in 2010. My operating system doesn't stand a chance with quantum hardware techniques, shove off. Really? Well, all I can tell you is that if you're worried about your technology, don't be. We're state of the art. Why do you think the Democrats wouldn't ask any questions to make Trump look bad? Because they don't have a brain to ask those questions. I just articulated 5 or 6 points that have never even been mentioned in the media. I mean, I just ripped holes in the Mueller case, and they wouldn't even know what to ask. How come Trey Gowdy couldn't come up with a single question to Hillary Clinton that she could answer? Because he's an idiot. Trey Gowdy backed out of politics when he found out it was so corrupt. He doesn't even want to get involved. But Trey Gowdy could have easily asked Hillary Clinton a big question. Why did she remove a known terrorist agency from the list of known terrorist agencies around the world the day after Benghazi? Yes, I can point to all the gas planets in the distant galaxy. Right here is Uranus, and there's Neptune. Well, whatever. Fish sticks became a popular food item in America because people like to eat less, and they don't want to overdo their fish intake, and they make great fish tacos. Well, all the gas planets have tremendous, well, let's just say spheres of gas around them. I just answered your question, Saffron. You're repeating yourself. You know, I was surprised. I bought a fillet of fish recently for $4.70. I was trying to figure out what Donald Trump liked about these sandwiches. Fillet of fish at McDonald's is ridiculous. Just for the sandwich is $4.70. I got a piece of like really bad, fluffy, bleached out white bread, and this little piece, I swear it was about this big of fish in the middle. Well, $4.70 for a little piece of fish. I could better get fish stick and stick it between 2 hot dog buns, and I get the same effect with some tartar sauce. Why is Donald Trump wasting taxpayer dollars on that? Or actually, he has to pay for his own food. He probably has to reach in his pocket and pull out a few 20s for the FBI when they buy his fish burgers. You just said they wouldn't ask, never said why they wouldn't ask. They wouldn't ask, Saffron, because they basically don't know these questions to be self-evident. Go ahead, what's the question?
Do you know how to fold up the iron board?
Fold it up an ironing board? Yeah, I can figure it out. I'll get up and do it. If you want to take a little bit more time with the group of people here. I don't think the Democrats really want to prosecute. It's like Nancy Pelosi said. She said, oh no, it's just best that we don't pursue impeachment.
You could probably figure it out, but
no, I'll get it. It's no problem. I got it. It's all good. I need to use the restroom.
No pork and beans. Okay. You don't think fillet of fish is real? You don't think people don't know how to fillet the fish? Or you're thinking like McDonald's is making something strange? Mueller makes a last-minute request. Thanks. And Republicans aren't happy about it. We asked Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee to swear in his long-term deputy as a witness at a congressional hearing Wednesday. Oh, Aaron Zebley, who served as deputy on the special counsel's probe, be sworn in as a witness in order to address any questions he is not able to answer. Oh, that's good. He's scheduled to testify before the House Judiciary Committee for 3 hours and before the House Intelligence Committee for 2 hours Wednesday. Oh, yes. Well, he'll be pressed for details. Oh, so those are committees. He'll be pressed for details of his 22-month investigation into whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia and whether President Donald Trump attempted to obstruct the probe. I think I would have just as much luck as David's having. Okay. In a report of the investigation, Mueller said his team was unable to establish that any Trump associate conspired with the Russian government to influence the election. Wait, what? But the report was vague on obstruction. He declined to charge Trump on obstruction, but also said the Republican was not exonerated by the investigation. Well, one of the things that it is happening is, like, he said that if Trump was innocent, he would have said so. So, and the only people that can prosecute Trump is the House, or as Senate has the judging thing.
I got it.
Man, you're sorry.
I got it.
Thank you. Anyway, in response to Mueller's request for guidance ahead of his testimony, the Justice Department said Monday that the former FBI director has to stay within the boundaries of the public version of his report. Wait, what? That's ridiculous. The public version? What? Wait. He should be able to tell Congress everything he knows. Okay, it's not entirely clear why Mueller seeks Zebley's assistance at the hearing. It's also unclear whether House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler, a New York Democrat, approved the last-minute change. The hearing schedule currently lists Mueller as the only witness. Yeah. If it's classified information, it would have to be done in closed session. I understand that, Tom. But Zebley was Mueller's right-hand man. Okay, so Mueller's thing is tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's as a last-minute request, he's asked Zebley, but that's in front of a couple of committees, and he's asked for his right-hand man, Zebley, to also be sworn in as a witness. Zebley served as chief of staff to Mueller when he was FBI director. He's been criticized by some Trump supporters because he represented former Clinton aide Justin Cooper in the investigation into former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's use of private email servers.
And none of this has ever turned into anything.
Republicans called on Democrats to leave Zebley off the witness stand. Oh.
You see, this is just evasion and just complete evasion, and they won't ask the specific questions that they need to ask to get to the bottom of why Mueller kind of candy-coated the whole thing.
Here's the one question. I'm going to, for any of you House members that are listening tonight, here's the one question you need to ask.
Right.
Mr. Mueller, do you believe that Donald Trump violated the law? Period.
That's it.
That is it. with the answer to that question, they would have enough to impeach Trump, because Mueller said that if he felt that Donald Trump was innocent, he would have said so in his report, and he did not.
Right.
Therefore, all they need to do is start with that question.
Yep.
Mr. Mueller, did Donald Trump violate the law? That's it.
And it's obvious that he did violate the law, because Mueller got Don McGahn to admit that Trump tried to obstruct justice by having him fired.
And I mean, and it doesn't have to be obstructing. It doesn't have to be the Russian investigation that violated the law. It could be obstruction of justice. It could be any number of things.
There's many things.
There's many things that they. Then you can ask, how did Mr. Trump violate the law?
Exactly.
Yes, I'm wearing pajama pants right now. You want to see them? They're blue. There's my foot. There's my sock. There's my pajama pant. All right. Oh, goodness. Thanks, Blue Medic. Are you laughing at Trump or laughing at me? Yes, I'm not President of the United States. I think that whoever is President of the United States would have that many viewers. Oh yeah, that does look nice.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right. That's good. I can take over now. I think I collapsed that. Everything good?
All right, he's good. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Great question, too. Did he violate the law? Did Donald Trump violate the law?
That's all they need to ask.
That's all they need to ask. It's as simple as that. Hey, Scissor Fight. Big steaming pile, I know.
I mean, he was...
Joe Biden says he didn't think anyone thought Trump would be as bad as he is.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought he did. Do I count as no one?
Well, I'm sorry. Only David knew that.
Apparently, I'm the only one who knew that.
That's what I should say.
You know, Biden is asleep at the switch. Let's face it. He's...
Wash my hair.
Yeah. Well, if you want. Your hair looks beautiful either way. You don't need to. Your choice. You do have hair dryers and all kinds of fun stuff. If you do wash your hair, you've got to condition it. I would use maybe...
Well, I have that leave-in conditioner.
Yeah, you got that. You've got that green stuff that I really shouldn't even use because it's got some sort of oil in it. I don't know. It's a grapefruit enzyme, but I don't know. I'm afraid to condition my hair nowadays because of the need for me to look more like Boris Johnson.
You want me to leave this open so it's not just...
No, I've got good air coming at me here. Trump is so derogatory and he's so useless as a president. You know he's spending $2.5 billion right now on, $2.5 million extra on Black Hawk helicopters flyovers over the Washington area. I don't understand. I'm not purple. I'm trying to adjust for the bad quality of image. Well, whenever I have these...
Do you want the light?
No, look what happens when the light happens. Look what's going to happen. It's just so much light, then it has to readjust. And I think that it's bad for my eyes, so...
Do you want a lamp?
No, there's no correction here. None needed. I could darken it a little bit and then drop some of the whiteness, saturation. Good. I don't really know if I can turn that light on, Sarah, for me. No, that's good. Thank you. All right. Why does your hair go albino white with all that light? I don't know. I that's the thing. You don't need a lot of light to do a show like this. Did you hear that people in Mumbai are hiring flashers to work intersections and rotating by size depending on traffic? I did not know that. In Bombay. Flashers directing traffic, the only way to get people to do anything. I could never run to any country that had flashers. You know, my high school graduation was interrupted by flashers. You know, Trump is so good at absolutely nothing that he's learned that he can sue anybody he wants by just saying, I'm going to sue them, I'm going to sue him, I'm going to sue them. And it's almost like this guy wants to obstruct incessantly. And the Democrats have become so useless at finding out, you know, what they can nail Trump on, that here we go again. Yeah, here we go again. We go right here and click this. Well, let's be clear. This was the news story you just sent me. Mueller makes last-minute request ahead of testimony and Republicans aren't happy about it. Okay. Yeah, having a guy stand by his side to hold his hand after he said he wouldn't testify at all, ever, shows me that Robert Mueller doesn't even understand law. How could he be a special prosecutor? I think he was a guy who fleeced the American government for $40 million. Useless. A complete idiot. And oh, by the way, he was the one that signed off on the 9/11 Commission report, which we know now is a total lie. A complete cover-up of the real facts of 9/11. So how could we rely on a guy who covered up 9/11, the truth about 9/11, to come up with any answers about this Russian investigation? I mean, seriously. Let's be real here. Let's be really serious. Seriously. Trump sues House Ways and Means panel to block disclosure of his tax returns. See what I mean? Oh, I would gladly show you my tax returns, but now he won't. Meaning he's hiding something. That's right. Trump is guilty, as charged. He filed a lawsuit to prevent House Ways and Means. Now, the House Ways and Means Committee can access anyone's tax records by law. Nobody can stop them from accessing anyone's tax records. So he's got a tough road to hoe if he wants to stop constitutional law. But apparently it hasn't stopped him yet. So being that Trump gets complete coverage from the two-party duplicitous collusion, two-party collusion system that's protecting him. I don't know, man. You're making a joke about 9/11. That's not really furtive territory for humor. Apparently, Nero's father died after the death of his adopted father, Emperor Claudius, in AD 54. The last ruler of what historians call the Julio-Claudian dynasty ruled until he committed suicide in AD 68. So that's right. Thank you for asking that question. It's always troubled me as to Nero's father and his death. No, you can't talk about Helen Keller jokes. Don't pass muster here. Dead baby jokes, they don't work. Read my lips. You can't see my taxes. I don't know, what do you call it? Ethiopian with an STD? Quarter pounder with cheese? That's just not funny. You know, that's just not a funny joke, sorry. I had to get my fruit enzyme spray here, so we're maybe I'll give myself the wet look by spraying my dry hair. I just don't understand why it's so dry here. Yeah, well, I'm in Sedona. That's why I've got dry hair. Thank you. Thanks, Dave, for explaining your dry hair, the Boris Johnson look. Look, stop with the jokes about Ethiopian children. My goodness, don't you have any heart? Pallid. Oh, God, I can't win with you people in the lighting. I mean, every time I hit the road, lighting sucks. I'm not going to carry lamps around with me when I travel to hotel. Well, I think we've established that Donald Trump is essentially getting a free ride, that the government is covering his ass, and he's part of the deep state. I think that's a given at this point. Donald Trump is a deep state player. Now back to more drone footage of Jeffrey Epstein's orgy island. this apparently is a pathway that's used by the alleged pervert pedophile. Right, he's got a whole like a highway around it where you can, like a racetrack, where you can drive his Formula cars and give the girls a ride before they take another ride. What's in the middle there? That's just weird. Now, what would this be used for? This big pile of dirt. I mean, what is a sarcophagus where he buries bodies? I mean, that is just some weird, kinky stuff. Isn't that weird? And the road goes right up into it. And look at those lines. It's like, what do they do, donuts? And it's got to be some ritual center that they've engaged in. Look at those circles. Yeah. Doing donuts at Orgy Island. Making copies. He's got lower tiered traveling. You can get down to the water down there. And what's that? Some sort of a pirate ship? Pretty interesting stuff, the drone footage of Jeffrey Epstein's palatial retreat. We'll be getting to more of that later on tonight. Thank you. I'm back. Yeah, it's all fun. You know, we are doing a show regardless of, you know, the efforts to stop us, as you know. This is what we do, interactive chat every night.
You're listening to virtual interactive chat like you've never heard before. We are discussing issues from both sides of the political spectrum every night. Join us as we take on the two-party system.
All right. Free love. Yeah, it's not just a mop. It's what I have going for me is actually better than hair. Yeah, it's original. But it's not really, it is hair. I mean, it grew out of my follicles, but I'll tell you how I've been able to hold on to my hair over the years. And it's going to shock you to know that I do have to struggle to keep my hair on my head. Believe it or not, I have to eat really well. I have to eat at least 2 avocados a day. I don't use butt plugs as a rule, or hair plugs for that matter. Pirate ship, a pirate ship for you. It's a pirate ship for you. Yeah, this is a pirate ship, classic. Ooh, classic pirate ship. Check this out. Yeah, we got a picture of the ultimate pirate ship. Look at that. Wow, scary, scary pirate ship. Ooh, kids. I don't want kids on the screen. They were simply, you know, normal kid pictures. Thank you. Wow. Okay, any other questions? Jeremy Timbers. It was a quad racetrack, really? Okay, so Dr. Meow knows all about the alleged racetrack that was out there. Apparently it's a place for young people, especially girls, prostitutes of Jeffrey Epstein, to take a ride on a quad. Yeah. I don't know what a quad is, but Meow seems to be in the know, so we're going to go with that concept, that he knows more than anyone else about what's going on there. Have you been to Meow TV? Have you been to Orgy Island? Have you been invited, being you're part of the FSB and the secret Mossad? You can tell the truth here. We don't mind. Just go ahead and brag a little bit if you've been there. Yeah. Mueller's mass minute request testament. Yeah, we got that story. We got that story, and we got this story, and we're chatting about it right now. Oh, well, what's the matter with kids today? They grew up in a world that's absolutely disgusting. Now, this story is perhaps more important, and we'll give you that story right now. The conversation. Jeffrey Epstein's arrest is the tip of the iceberg. Human trafficking is the world's fastest growing crime. You know, he's got billions of dollars. No one knows how he got it. He hasn't really shown any proof that he earned it in the market or as a job. So we're thinking he makes money trafficking children. It's fairly obvious, isn't it? He's connected the American financier, bringing underage 14-year-old girls to his homes in various locations across the U.S. He reportedly had a network of more than 50 victims, and evidence against him includes hundreds of lewd photographs of girls and young women. You know, what my concern is this related in any way to James Alefantis? And is there a connection to the Nixivium and Keith Raniere's cult of sex play and child pornography? Child sex trafficking is a critical issue affecting more than 1 million children in the world. Some consider human trafficking as the world's fastest growing crime. Worldwide, about 20% of trafficking victims are children, with up to 100% in some regions. So, the most common form of human trafficking is sex trafficking. 4.8 million people are forced into sex exploitation globally. So it's more than 1 million, it's 4.8 million people. And the industry produces $99 billion in profits a year for traffickers. Well, you know, this story is one of those things that keeps bubbling up to the top no matter how they try to suppress it. Well, I'm glad that Sarah and I have each other. We're good for each other. In Ukraine, a 14-year-old girl is legal. Are you sure you want to talk about that, Blue Medic, considering what you said in the chat room one day? David, would you tax human trafficking as a prison? I would be lowering the boom on human trafficking. I am. I would be lowering the boom on this stuff that's going on. I think Donald Trump has purposely ignored the problem because his friend Jeffrey Epstein is involved. Yeah. Now, I think you're right about what you're saying, but I think what we're seeing is Donald Trump giving him cover. Labor Secretary Acosta gave him cover. Donald Trump picked Labor Secretary Acosta, said, "Oh, he's a very good man. I'm very, very happy about him, but he's resigning." You know, so everything seems to be cover for all these pedos and pedo enablers. And Trump is at the heart of that cover-up. Let's not forget, too, the threats against Stormy Daniels. You better not, oh, what a pretty little daughter you have. She wouldn't want to lose her mother now, would she? You better dump this Trump thing. That was a guy that came up to Stormy Daniels and threatened her. What's to say that Justice for Katie wasn't treated the same way? She said that she was threatened to filing a lawsuit against Trump during the election period. She said that they threatened her life. So death threats against women who were children when they were sexually abused have not been investigated by the FBI. The FBI has not investigated the cases of pedophilia in various states like Nebraska, dating back to the early 90s and the Franklin Group and Boys Town. The Nebraska State Police discovered that this entire ring of pedophiles goes all the way to Washington, D.C., and guess what? The FBI told them to stop investigating it in Nebraska. Cease and desist. You're standing there protecting Stormy Daniels, who obviously had sex with Donald Trump, who claims that she has Donald Trump's semen on a dress. And you're standing there saying she's just an old stripper thriving for attention? Give me a break. Stormy Daniels told the truth, and Donald Trump has been using strong-arm tactics like Michael Cohen paying off thugs to threaten people's lives. You people who voted for Trump are a bunch of scumbags. And I agree with Jimmy Carter that this past election was illegal. So there's no way we even should acknowledge Donald Trump at this point as our president, because he was illegally elected, with Russia completely altering the course of the election. I think Bill Clinton bought the dress that Monica Lewinsky was wearing at auction for $200,000. Seriously. So a dress with semen on it by the president was $200,000. He bought it. He didn't want it out there in circulation. Well, they found out that the person who made the bid, they traced his IP to his house in Chappaquiddick. He went to his house in Chautauqua with his wife Hillary, and they bid on it and they got it out of circulation. I am running in 2020, but unfortunately I'm being censored heavily in America. As soon as I break out into the mainstream media, this world is going to change. Your news is going to come alive. As soon as I get 1 second of airtime in America, in American media, everything's going to change. I will spike the dialogue. No matter where I turn, I will give alternate views that many of you are also concerned about, that can't even get your word out. I will be your next president, yes. I just need a 1 second of media time. I mean, isn't it obvious to you that they're keeping me out of the media because of my incredible wit and my intellectual perceptions of the political scene? Nobody can compete with me. I've got a better hold on the American political scene than any person out there. I know what's really vulnerable. The Democrats, Republicans would fold if I were to attack them on homelessness, on the environment. Every one of those Democrats would fold when I simply asked the question, how come you're not investigating Dow Chemical? How come you're not looking into Monsanto Bayer and their misuse of GMOs in our diet? That exposes the Democrats to the fakery that they are right now. How come they're not filtering all the water in our water right now? This is absurd. We should have filtration systems everywhere. We've got toxins in our tap water. I filter my water. Genetically modified food may save a few people, but in the long run, the Rodale Institute, organic magazines company, the publisher, the Rodale Institute actually came up with a study that showed that organically produced vegetables are just as drought resistant as genetically modified vegetables and are a hell of a lot more healthy. I think it's okay for anyone to wear sandals, especially if they want to keep their feet cool. Now, the question came up about the Rolling Stone article that said I was a bizarre fringe candidate. I will be processing a libel suit against Rolling Stone eventually, but I really don't want to bother with it right now. Yeah, they're in the middle of a bankruptcy, and frankly, it'd be like taking blood out of a turnip. They're so screwed up financially. Rolling Stone would just crumble under a lawsuit. They wouldn't be able to pay up. It'd be a waste of my time and money. Well, now Gandhi is not my role model. No, I have, much like Gandhi, I read Henry David Thoreau's book on behalf of civil disobedience, Walden Pond, and it influenced me greatly in high school. In case you didn't know, I was the #1 high school student in my school. That's on the record. I'm not lying about that. I had graduated at 17. I'd skipped a grade, 7th grade when I was younger, and I was treated like crap when I went on to college, and I really rested my understanding of the world onto that book that Henry David Thoreau wrote, and it really influenced the way I saw the world. I started to look through the eyes, the lens of the Eastern religions for a while. I dabbled in a little Zen Buddhism, and I began to realize that the Western societies have fallen into a category one could almost call conspicuous consumption, with no regard for the outcome. That's not to say that Chinese culture is not heading in the same direction. It is, but we have a lot to learn from the Eastern religions in that respect. They really appreciate simplicity and smallness. And then another author wrote a book at the time that influenced me. E.F. Shoemaker wrote a book called Small is Beautiful. And this economist really believed that divestiture of our assets would be better in the long run than allowing for mega corporations to dictate terms and, destroy the world. And by divestiture of our assets means that we're really breaking things down into smaller, more localized economies. And that's kind of where we're headed. The sustainable model for the future for mankind is not a global society. Maybe globally connected, but it will be managed by the nation-state model, not a new world order. Those people are basically the same monarchies of the past trying to pull the wool over your eyes and rebrand themselves and make it seem like they're offering something new. There's nothing effective or useful about shipping peaches that taste like cardboard from Ecuador to our shelves in Atherton or wherever you live. I was violated by affirmative action. That's right. I was kicked out. I was not let into Harvard, Princeton, Yale, and Stanford even though I was 4.0 and had a high GPA and high SAT scores. So I was completely prejudiced against. That doesn't matter. Let's move on. If I had been if I had claimed I was Algonquin Indian, like Elizabeth Warren claimed she was Cherokee Indian, sure, I've got a small percentage of my genes were Algonquin, but not enough to qualify to be a minority. But she did, and why is Trump not prosecuting her? You see, all these people are in play like puppets in a puppet show. It really is pathetic. I mean, Ilhan Omar is not being prosecuted for marrying her brother to make him a U.S. citizen. Elizabeth Warren's not being prosecuted for lying on affirmative action documents and perjuring herself. Donald Trump isn't pursuing a case against his friend Jeffrey Epstein, hasn't, because these people are all protected. They're all part of the puppet play that's going on right before your very eyes. I have an upper lip, yes. I just hide it really well. You're not allowed to post information about blackface here. It was something that Mark said we can't talk about. There's no freedom in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a disaster. It's a hellhole. I don't need a job. I retired when I was 50. Unlike Trump, I'm not deeply in debt like he was. I started working at the age of 7. My first job was selling lemonade in front of my house. I've been in the Washington Post, but only as a reference to the Rolling Stone article. It's still slander and libel, no matter how you cut it. Yes, I started working at the age of 7 with my lemonade stand. No, I don't get a welfare check or Social Security. I don't ever want it either. No, I've got plenty of assets. I have fortunes I haven't even drawn from. It's just that I'm unlike Donald Trump, who's constantly in need of spending money. I didn't really need to spend a lot of money. I took care of my family when I was working, so I was able to save money in those years. I'm not using Sarah's income at all, no. She makes a donation to our utility payments, but that's about it. Yeah, she's her own woman. She's got her own accounts, and she's in her own name. Everything's, her retirement income is hers. What did I do before I retired? Oh, I was in advertising. And prior to that, I was a radio news director, and I also did work in voiceover. But I've been very frugal all these years, so I really didn't need to work past 50. I've got enough money to live comfortably anywhere I want in the world. So if I want to retire in Switzerland, I could if I really wanted to. But I prefer traveling in America because you don't have to go through checkpoints and have your body searched by people grabbing your genitals. Whenever I go into public buildings, government buildings, I always wonder, are they going to grab my genitals? Because there's a lot to grab there. I don't believe in wearing rings. They attract lightning, and I wouldn't want a lightning rod to hit my hand. Yeah, carrying metal around on your hands is not the smartest thing to do, especially in the middle of a lightning storm. I don't take wedding photos. No, I used to do videography. Video weddings, yeah. I did some videography for many years. I knew a guy in LA that was going to offer me half his business. I'll never forget him. Yeah. He turned out to be one of the most renowned photographers in the world in his specific area. But it was the weirdest thing. He said, "Dave, I want to share this business with you. You've been doing such great work with me." I said, "Oh, great. This is awesome." I remember going back and telling my father, "Yeah, this guy wants to share his business with me. I'm all set, ready to go." The next day he called me up and told me his brother-in-law was going to take my place, that he was coming out from Iran. because he had married an Iranian woman and his brother-in-law was flying out to take over the business. Yeah, wasn't that a nice thing? I mean, I gave him all that time sharing, you know, my effort. And turns out some Iranian brother-in-law got the business after all. It was a very lucrative wedding business. Wedding videos in LA can draw anywhere from 900 to 1,500 to 2,000 a pop. And that's a pretty good profit margin. And it's a very good area. I thought that would be a great business opportunity, but he just bailed on it. No, I'm not gay. I would never have married a gay man. Rock Hudson never tried to do anything other than look at me. Yeah. That's very rude, Best Party. Unless you clean up your dialogue, you're gone. You're going to be banned. Yeah, I would never have sex with another man simply because I'm not gay. Well, back in my college years when I went to UCLA, experimenting with, I guess, Jewish professors that exported communism, I had this Jewish professor who he had all these books on social revolution, the free speech movement, and that was the topic of the conversation. We studied the free speech movement, the social democrats, SDS, yeah, even socialism. We looked at that, and in our class we got breaks. It was like a 3 hours, 2 days a week at UCLA. In that class, we took a break, and I went outside and took a break one day, and some black guy was standing there next to me smoking a cigarette. You know, he's like, "Hey man, what you think about the civil rights movement, man?" I'm going, well, it was an incredible time. I mean, a lot of people were trying to get rights for a lot of people, and not just, you know, one particular group of people. He says, "Why do you don't know nothing about the civil rights movement? You don't know nothing, Whitey." That's what he said to me. It's like, that was out of the blue. It's like, wait a second, he's calling me Whitey. Whitey, you don't know nothing about the civil rights movement. Nothing. And I knew quite a bit. I'd done an extensive reading. I said, well, you just said don't know nothing. That's a double negative. That means that I do know something about the civil rights movement. And he looked at me like, huh? And then he said, what kind of grade do you think you'll get on your paper? I said, I don't know. I'm going to work hard on it. Maybe I'll get a B. This guy seems like a tough Jewish professor, especially a communist, tough Jewish professor. He didn't like white people, the Jewish professor. I knew that. Because most Jewish professors don't like white people. They have this white guilt, you know, that's really bad. Anyway, he said, I know I'm going to get an A+. And I said, how do you know you're going to get an A+? He said, because I bought my paper, he said. I paid $25 for it. So he bought his paper, he paid $25 for it. And you want to know something? He got an A+ on that paper. And I didn't turn to the professor and say, hey, this guy bought his paper, because I knew the Jewish professor would say, oy vey, you're a racist. You're turning on my black employee, my black students. This is clearly racism. I said, no. I just accepted my B, I think I got on that paper. And he did get an A+. No, his name was not Obama, but I must say he was very similar to Obama in that he wanted to buy his way into his university and use any means possible to cheat and lie like Obama did when he lied about being a homosexual when he was clearly a homosexual Muslim. He lied about claiming he was married to a woman when clearly he was married to a transgender. I mean, hello? If you don't know that Michelle Obama is a transgender, let me show you at least one photograph that would prove it, okay? Obama was not a top student. Obama never even attended Harvard. No. Obama never even attended Harvard. He was never even... Barack Hussein Obama. First of all, Obama... he had a relationship with a guy named Michael LaVaughn Robinson. He's a homosexual. Michael LaVaughn Robinson is Michelle Obama. No, I'm telling you, Akira, Barack Obama never even was president of the Law Review. There's no evidence he was. In the year before Obama was after Obama was allegedly president of the Law Review, John Sedgwick did an article for GQ magazine. I happen to have about 7 copies of it, on the life of Harvard. And in it they talked about minority professors, minority students. And this was a year after Barack Obama was allegedly president of Harvard Law Review. He wasn't mentioned once in the article. Why would the most important position for a minority person to occupy not be mentioned in an article about minorities in Harvard? I can prove this. Beyond that, a little anecdotal evidence I have. We have pictures of Michelle Obama's penis. And these aren't just made up pictures. There's no photoshopping involved here. Michelle Obama is a dude. And the lies that went down during his administration, Obama's administration, go way beyond the small level of lies. Look at the Adam's apple Michelle has. I mean, take a look at that for starters. I'm just saying. Michelle Obama never really had children. She borrowed her children from her best friends. Yeah. Here's a picture of Obama in his early gay days at Occidental. Check this out. I mean, you can't tell me this guy is not gay. I mean, seriously. Anyway, I'm showing you a picture of Michelle and Michael, or Michael LaVaughn Robinson. He was a tackle, or running back or something. A running back, that's right. A running back in the Oregon State University in 1981. And then he changed his name from Michael LaVaughn Robinson to Michelle Robinson. Michelle, ma belle. Yeah. I'm not making any of this up. This is fact-based. And if you believe the crap that Obama spun, he never showed any of his records, ever. He never showed any of his records. Not one school record Obama ever had was shown. Look at that penis there. That's not photoshopped, I assure you. Yeah, everything about Obama is a lie. Of course, how many other politicians can you say that about? I mean, Joe Biden, he's another guy that he lied on his bar exam. He was caught cheating, in fact. Joe Biden was caught cheating on his bar exam. Isn't that amazing? And he lied about it too. Now, I'm just making some simple points there, buddy. Yeah, he's a liar. He's a known liar. Look at that penis there. Just look at it. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look here at other photos that would verify the penile structure in between Michelle's legs. And I don't think we need to spend much time on this beyond what I've already done. I'm not going to play you the video. That's ridiculous. Yeah. You've seen enough evidence. If you don't believe it, you'll never believe it. If you're asking why I am building a third party, it's because basically both parties are designed to divide our country. And they're two wings of the same bird. They're padding their pockets in Washington. They both suck up to corporate money. They both do the bidding of very elite people who give them cash. And essentially our senators and congressmen are a bunch of whores. Okay, let's take a look. I don't think that's Kamala Harris. But you did manage to get kicked from the show. Yeah. This will all come out, yes. I'm going to be pursuing these cases with a vigor for years to come. I'm not going to give up. I believe that some things I believe that are just immutable, self-evident, and ultimately will come forth as the truth. I'm not going to give up on the theory that Barack Obama was born in Kenya, like Trump did. That was my birther issue. He stole, hijacked just to get noticed, and then he dropped it like it was a terrible thing. Trump will never do anything. No, I'm not doing that tonight. Okay, I've got a very important video. Let me take a look. Oh, we have a standing order not to talk about Flat Earth here. Anybody promoting Flat Earth is a CIA plant or an absolute idiot, one or the other. I'm sorry. You can't post here anymore. Yeah, anyone talking about a Flat Earth is a moron, an absolute idiot. Or a CIA plant, one or the other. Does it even matter? I hope to be at Pigfest, Tom. Do you live in Oak Harbor? Yeah, I used to know Nubius, but Nubius, they say, they made some statements about him, and I don't know him anymore. So, oh well, the Pigfest is something I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I'm building up my bacon intake so I can take in more and more roasted pork flesh during that time period. So I'm kind of on a bacon diet. Bacon, 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 bacon. Well, we've been eating at all these morning breakfast places we get with our concierge at these hotels. And they usually put out bacon or sausage, and the bacon is really good. Why do the Democrats act like sissies and not enforce subpoenas? Because the Democrats are sissies. None of them have a ball or testicle. And if they have one, they've been pretty much castrated, like our governor. Yeah. Jay Inslee of Washington, who can't even get into the debates because nobody in the Democratic Party even likes the guy. Yeah, and all he can talk about is cap and trade legislation. The guy has no depth whatsoever. He's such an idiot. I had a chance to talk to Jay Inslee on the phone one day, and I asked him why they issued prison-issued toilets at our national parks. And he said that nothing he could do. This is back when he was my legislator. Nothing he could do about prison-issued toilets in national parks, in state national parks, state parks. Yeah, and I said, well, you obviously don't represent me, because I would never put a guest we have 2 million visitors coming to this area of the island to see a place called Deception Pass. And the last thing they want to do is sit on some pool of urine from some guy who pissed on the toilet. They literally didn't have any toilet covers. And they've changed that since I made my phone calls to various sources, but I had to actually contact the Park Service and get them on the phone. And they finally added toilet lids, let alone toilet seat covers, which would be a big innovation. But the guy literally told me that he couldn't do anything with prison-issued toilets at a state park. I do broadcast every day, 6 to 8, Monday through Friday. I'm extending the show because I care. I may be on till 8:30. It's 6 to 8 Monday through Friday on the summertime, and during the regular part of the year, Bombardier, I'll be going from 5 to 2 in the morning. 5 to 10 is our live show, and 10 to 1 is videos. I'm changing my layout. I used to be doing it till 2 in the morning, but now I'm doing it till 1 in the morning coming up. I need the extra sleep. I told Sarah that, I need extra time to mellow out, and I was going to bed at 3 in the morning last year, and it really affected my. I don't even think we're going to do a Mojo Hour. I just need the sleep, guys. If I don't get 6 to 7 hours of sleep, it starts to affect my health, and I want to be healthy for you as I move forward. Sarah, are you ready for bed? Okay, well, you can always, hang in. I'm going to do another 15 minutes, 17 minutes here. I'm extending it out a little bit. The toilets were the most pressing issue facing Washington at the time. The other pressing issue was how wasteful spending was going on. And I told him I like spring water as long as it's real spring water, filtered. All I'm saying is that the spending in democratically led states like Washington, California, New York, Florida, Illinois is absolutely over the top. I mean, look at the new bill. They want to put $340 billion of extra money in our budget on top of the $1 trillion overspending we have right now. That's the Democrats' big idea for 2020. They want to be $1.34 trillion over budget next year. Can you imagine? These people are brain dead, and they're careening our country toward a fiscal disaster. All right. Okay. They're spending more, and your tax dollars can't even cover the interest on the debt. I can't even tell you how our country's been functioning except by saying we borrow money all the time. That's my point. The Trump deficit is $1 trillion a year. The Democrats want to add another $342 billion to it. It's like I said, it's both parties, both pieces of the bird, man. Two wings of the same bird. They're just wasting money left and right. Both parties are. I'm angry at the Trump deficit. I'm angry at the Obama deficit. I'm angry at the Democrats and their $340 billion extra they want to spend. I mean, hello. Do you not understand the need for a third party by now? Why are you people like Akira clinging to the Democratic Party when they can't even get up enough gumption to process an impeachment against an obviously guilty president? You should be ashamed of your party, you Democrats. And you Republicans, you should be ashamed of yourselves for being supporters of Russia and sitting there and doing nothing while Russia buys our nation. You know that Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell both get money for re-election from Russia? And no wonder they were so adamantly supportive of Trump and stopping collusion discussions and obstructing. How do you win a trade war with a country that owns 2/3 of our debt? Well, the best way to win a trade war with a country that owns 2/3 of our debt is to get back to the real point. The real point, which is the people that control our money and our monetary system are holding a massive amount of assets from World War II in their banks. We cash that out, we'll have $40 trillion to spend. We'll easily pay off China. The trade war will be incidental. We will erase the trade war with China instantly when I become president. I will open up dialogues to retract trade laws to 2009. 2008. I seriously want to get a fresh start with China. Oh, I'm ashamed of the Democrats for acting like weaklings too, Akira, but you guys saw the handwriting on the wall. You knew that when they picked Nancy Pelosi as their Speaker of the House that they had no balls. They had some old woman with Alzheimer's leading the way. I mean, come on. She's not a leader. She's a joke. My goodness. Did you see the way that she mishandled the hearings as Speaker the other day? She violated numerous laws of procedure. Procedural rules were just thrown out the door. And Nancy Pelosi was going, we've got to have some sort of a statement to say about Trump's racism. Trump isn't a racist. No, he's just a guy who spits it out of his mouth every time he says something. He actually made a statement that had no racist overtones at all. He just said people should go back where they came from. Wherever they came from. We don't know where they came from. They may have been aliens from Uranus or Neptune. Chuck Schumer is all about the money. But ironically, Chuck Schumer is not a rich guy. Would I let Trump be my vice president? At this point, I consider Trump just a loose cannon without anywhere to shoot. How is it racist to say that somebody should go back to where they came from? Especially if they married their brother. I mean, come on. Trump needs to fess up to that and prosecute Ilhan Omar, or he's just a puppet for the deep state. All I can tell you is Trump is just playing a big mouthy game. He's divide and conquer. He's a simple puppet for the elitists who just want to turn our country upside down. Trump is very divisive, just like Obama was. That's exactly their play. That's the game of the people that run the two parties. I'm not here to wave the racism flag. I never will. You know, I won't even call black people racist. That's how kind I am. I get treated like whitey, honky, cracker. But then I meet a lot of nice black people, you know, and they convince me that not everyone is prejudiced against white people. So I don't call people names and call them racist. But they call me a racist if I did an impersonation of Barack Obama. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's free speech. How often do I think about Trump on an average day? Depends on where I'm in traffic.
All the time.
All the time.
I'm just kidding.
If I'm in the middle of traffic jam and he's blocking my way and he's cordoned off an entire section of my life, it's difficult to travel. Hey, any of you guys going to the big gathering out there in Area 51? Do we have any takers? Yeah. I don't think anybody's really going. I think that's just a hype that the CIA is trying to make it seem like people actually think about things like that. I don't believe the numbers. I don't even believe 1 million people are ready to go to Area 51. I don't even believe 2 people are ready. They can't even get people to go to Burning Man. Yet Burning Man's declined, you know, the number of people that are going there because they're going to be doing spot drug checks for people. Hey, Meta-Nemesis, how you doing? Yeah, they're going to be doing drug tests at Burning Man. When I look at the way the country has languished in this mouthy, threatening president's cesspool or toilet bowl of his own political nonsense, I realize that this country is killing off another 3 years of time, going on our 4th year of time, really not with nowhere to go. A rudderless foreign policy, an economy that can't start up new production but continually claims it's doing well because the stock market's going up. It's just a joke. Everything about Trump has been a complete and utter disaster. We're still headed to the same hellhole we were headed with Obama. It hasn't changed much. That's what I'm saying. The two parties are failing us. If you can't see that, you're an idiot. I think we should drug test the White House. That's right, Daryl. I think we should put together a package of cocaine assessment tools and just give them to Kellyanne Conway and Don McGahn, yeah, Mike Pence. I bet if they drug tested Mike Pence, he'd probably be on adrenochrome. You know, you wonder about him. And is Mike Pence ever going to present his emails from AOL that he handled most of his private stuff on when he was governor of Indiana? He's in total violation of federal disclosure laws. Mike Pence, the guy who's accused of being a pedophile, really should reveal his emails of when he was governor of Indiana, don't you think? I believe that ancient aliens existed, Riker's style. Yeah. We've seen from the patterns in the ground in South America that these images cannot be done any other way but by some alien source. When you look at these pictures right here, now I don't necessarily believe in aliens, that they exist today, but I believe that aliens may have existed centuries ago, millenniums ago. Seriously, because when you look at these lines in the ground, you've seen them. I mean, how do you create these things over long distances? And some of these lines are so straight over thousands of miles that you'd have to wonder, you know, how did they draw these etchings in the sand? The Nazca lines. Yes. What are the Nazca lines? Oh, hi. I'm here to sell you something. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, there's got to be some celestial body that did that. All I'm saying is give up on the Democratic Party, please. Are you Anunnaki? I do not have an elongated skull. As you can see, my skull is normal, like you, humans. You think that I have an elongated physical appearance. That's strange. That's like saying I'm living in some sort of a... As you can see, I don't have an elongated head. It's very thin. Well, all I'm saying is the Democrats have one thing on their mind. That's Donald Trump is a racist. When they've got countless of pieces of information showing clearly that the Republicans, that the Russians were involved in the race to win. Hey, Master Meatball's got something? I'm not home yet. No, I'm still doing the show from the road. Yes. Yeah. You're still betting on Mueller? Okay, thanks. Yeah, predict the markets. Bet on Mueller. Well, it'll be interesting to see what he says tomorrow. I'm going to predict he won't say anything. But Sarah's right. If he commits to the idea that Trump may have committed a crime, that would be a big step in the right direction. I mean, really. The fact that he hasn't said anything substantive, except hidden behind a few statements, and he wrote a letter to William Barr, who I think has committed some crimes. William Barr is engaged in some pretty weird, obstructive behavior. William Barr wrote a letter, a 19-page letter to Rod Rosenstein prior to the investigation, begging him to not investigate Michael Flynn. This is before we knew that Michael Flynn was working for Russia as our national security advisor. That's very damning evidence. I'd be more than enough to prosecute William Barr, our current Attorney General. I can't believe that the wheels of justice are turning so slow here. Our country is literally frozen, like an impacted turd in a constipated being, unable to do anything. We need some serious X-lax. Yeah, I heard Governor Puerto Rico is going to resign. Yeah. I know. The chatting that he did was just inappropriate. But I'm not here to talk about that tonight. Why does this man want to fight for his country, Dave? Which man is that? Because Trump doesn't have a real country. He's a sovereign individual. He's a billionaire. He doesn't care what country he lives in. Oh, Mueller? Mueller is just a guy who likes money. They say, I have fairly good inside information that suggests that Mueller was giddy when he made $40 million on the investigation. He's like some old guy who's just likes money now, since he has nothing else to live for. You know, money is everything to these people. Mueller did very little in the investigation. It's woefully bereft of any details. And even 438 pages of tripe and trivia is not enough to really lay it on the line. So because he didn't investigate the 15, or rather the 10 years of taxes that Trump has, which clearly would show Russian involvement, because he didn't give second trial to Paul Manafort, stopped short of that, which would have revealed money laundering with the Russians, because he didn't open up an investigation into the dossier, he had a paragraph reference to it, hardly anything. Because there is a sex selfie in the inventory that he had to post to Concord Consulting, all of these things make one believe that Mueller has been working for the deep state to protect Trump. Much like what Mueller did when he signed off on the 9/11 Commission report, claiming that 18 Saudi Arabians had attacked us. And by the way, not one of them has ever been found. So we're okay with 2,996 people dying 19 years ago? Or 18 years ago, and not one person's been apprehended. You're okay with that? I say it was an inside job. I say there's been a massive cover-up and Mueller's behind it. So I don't expect a lot from Mueller. He's part of the deep state, I'm telling you. Trump is getting protection from Mueller. The one who rigged the election in favor of Trump, believe it or not, was James Comey. James Comey did the unthinkable. He actually said that he was opening. Well, he openly said that Hillary was under investigation, criminal investigation, 11 days before the election, and James Comey responded to that by saying, and I quote, he didn't think she would win, or he didn't think he would win, that Hillary was going to win. That's why he didn't care about revealing that information. What kind of an idiot would be director of the FBI and claim that he didn't think that Hillary would lose the election, so he just went ahead and said that she was being criminally investigated 11 days before the election? If anybody was working for the Russians, it was James Comey. Seriously. I mean, he's the guy that really did rig the election, when you look at it. And Trump got rid of him because he didn't want him to investigate him in the Russian involvement. Well, maybe Comey wanted an easy out and didn't want to investigate Trump. And he just fired him because maybe Comey wanted out because he didn't want anyone to point a finger at him for what he did. Comey should be serving prison time. Rigging the election that way, he didn't have the authority to do that. You know that James Comey had possession of the dossier 5 months before the election? Didn't mention it at all to anybody? Even the day that he said he was opening a criminal investigation against Hillary, he didn't mention that he had the dossier? And to this day, the Democrats don't even care about talking about the dossier. This is a sham. We're experiencing a sham of judicial stagnation. Whatever Mueller talks about tomorrow will be a joke. If I happen to, catch it somewhere, watch it, I'll just be laughing inside. Well, actually, my hairdo is a result of a combination of things. I tried to tribute my hair to Boris Johnson today and his win. I think I got pretty close. So tomorrow I'll have a different hairdo. Well, as usual, we've had a great show. Thank you, Scissor Fight, for coming in. You guys take a break too. You don't have to be, so focused on politics while I'm doing my light show during the summertime. That's kind of nice. And I appreciate the time that you do spend in here. So, but I am wrapping it up. I'm going to watch some TV with Sarah and, kind of get comfortable, hang out. It's great to do a show, though, I must say. Having the ability to do the show from high-speed internet anywhere in the country is pretty cool. But we will be getting home early August, and hopefully before the Pig Fest, so we can chow down on some pork. Yeah. And since I'm not Jewish or Muslim, I can eat pork without feeling guilty. Thank you, Saudi. Thanks for coming in, guys.
You can Google when that is.
It's August 11th. We might make it. You never know.
We'll definitely make it. I plan to be home by August 8th.
Oh, good. Well, you're going to have a couple weeks of real rest before you jump into the teaching mode again. I want to take some walks on the beach with you. And cool.
Just do some foot rubs.
Sarah and I, yeah, really. Sarah and I discovered something really wonderful this year on our trip. We realized that she's allergic to mosquitoes and that we are going to stay right there where we live. Isn't that great? Yeah. Apparently Trump is working on an augmentation treatment that Melania got, and his man boobs have taken on new color. Look at that. He went to the same place Melania went to for breast augmentation treatments. That's great. Yeah, pork, the other white meat. I know. I don't make pork a big part of my life, although it is tasty. We have a little bit of bacon when we're at these morning breakfast bars they serve over at hotels like the one we're staying at. But you can overdo the pork, so you might want to lighten up on it. You don't make pork your regular diet. Good night, Saudi. Take care, everybody. Good night. Hey, this kind of a show is only possible because you guys want to watch it. So thank you very much for watching it. I would still do it even if I didn't have any viewers, but it's nice to have a good show. All right, we're signing off here with Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, yeah. We'll say goodnight, everyone. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Got a new viewer here. Thanks, Bombardier, for checking us out. If you want to watch any of my YouTube channels, I will give you the link in just a few minutes. You can always watch our YouTube link at coolrock.com, where we actually have a live show, coolrock.com. And we also have our show at americasthirdparty.com. ATPTravelShow.com. You can go to the link there. I've got 30,000 hours of viewership out there if you want to look at that viewership, whatever.
Mom is the right to good, to be true. You spin my world around, cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. Mom is the right to good, to be true. My world around, cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. Mom is the right to good, to be true.